Stephen A. Smith comes out today and says some crazy shit. So let's take a listen to what Stephen A. is saying, then we could break it down.
Because when you handle it the way that the Trump administration is handling it, we want the most qualified, we want the smartest, we want this, we want that. What you're really saying is, we want white dominance again. That's what you're really saying. You want white dominance. Because if you're pointing to DEI, and that's usually pointed towards quote unquote unqualified minorities, because you're always using the word qualified, as if everybody that got a position through DEI is not qualified. We know what you're implying. We know what you're insinuating. And you got folks in the administration and Pete Hegseth. Oh my God. The nerve of him to just join into the fray and give his quote about making sure qualified people have these jobs. You're the defense secretary, whose only job prior to this was as a weekend host on Fox News.
Okay, so what? Does Stephen A. not consider service in the military as a job? Because Pete Hegseth had that as a job also, and I'd say that's like one of the most intense jobs you could have. And like, does it not matter at all that the people who he's actually serving, the people in the military, were overwhelmingly happy and supportive about Pete Hegseth? Like, does it mean nothing that he went to frickin', what was it, Harvard and Princeton? Whatever, forget that part. But like, to come out and say that this means you want what do you say, white people in charge? Is that what?
Dominance.
White dominance?
White dominance. Really saying white dominance again. It's again. We want white dominance again. That's what you're really saying. You want white dominance.
Okay, let's go down a rabbit hole, because let's make this super simple for Stephen A. Because I mean, he's usually super smart, pretty reasonable. I mean, I listen to him a bit more in sports than politics stuff, but he wants to jump in the ring. He could jump in the ring. Let's look up percentage of race in America, because this is where I think people get this stuff wrong. Percentage of races in America. Because, see, so white, about 60%. Hispanic, about 19%. Black, about 12.6%. So it's normal to have that same ratio of people at a job. Not because anybody's better, because there's more of them. But to say, like, I don't know, for a freaking pilot or whatever you want to call it, FAA, to say that those positions have to reflect this, or even to be above this, then you're forcing things to happen. Like I've said before, I get nervous when I see female pilots, not because I'm saying like they're incapable of flying a plane, but because they try to force things. Like the lady who was flying the helicopter over DC, she had under 500 hours of flight experience. She was 28. We don't know a ton more than that, but like they try to force these diverse people into these positions just to say like, oh yeah, I'm the first this, I'm the first that. Like, you know, remember Cream Jump here? She comes out on day one and say, this is a day of a lot of firsts. I'm the first Black woman to be the press secretary. I'm the first LGBTQ woman to be part of to be the head of the press secretary. Yeah, like nobody cares if you're freaking awesome at it. Great. We don't care if you're the first. And you know what? It's a detriment to like your people if you're the first at it, not by merit, and you do a terrible job. Like Obama being the first Black president, I think kind of was a disservice to Black people, because even Black people freaking hate Obama. Like we kind of forced that. I mean, but at the same time, like, I mean, what was the freaking alternative? Like McCain sucked, Romney sucked. So of course it was going to be him. But I mean, if you had somebody like with a shred of charisma, might have been a different situation. But I think you guys get the point. But like for Stephen A. to come out and say this, like, what is going on? I mean, is he getting some kind of pushback from Disney or something? Because he's been kind of getting warmer to the things that Trump's been doing, and like damn near sounding Republican or conservative to a degree. Like when he came on the PUD podcast, he Pat straight up asked him, like, hey, so who are you voting for? And he's like, I'm gonna vote for Biden. Like, he's like, why? He's like, oh, I just have to vote for Biden. He didn't give a good reason, and felt kind of like a situation where he was saying this just to kind of appease people. Like, but you really didn't buy it. I really didn't buy it. I feel like Stephen A. Smith behind closed doors voted for Trump, but I don't know why he's saying that. Like nobody's talking about white dominance. Like, what has Trump said over and over again? Merit, 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 merit. Like, I almost think that, like, I wish there's a way to, like, not even see what a person's gender or ethnicity is when they're applying for a job. Like, you obviously have to interview them and, like, see what they're like on the spot, answering questions, how they speak and whatnot. But I think that'd be the best case scenario if you literally just were able to hire somebody by their performance without even, like, thinking about their race or their gender. Is that so hard to ask for? And hey, like, certain things attract certain people. Certain jobs, more black people want to do those jobs. Certain jobs, more white people want to do those jobs. Certain jobs, more women want to do the jobs. Certain jobs, more men want to do the jobs. So, like, I think, like, yeah, sure, there's an element of people hiring by race, like hiring people that look like them. It was really bad at one point. That's why they started kind of pushing towards this diversity direction. But I mean, geez, the pendulum swung way too far in the opposite direction of how it used to be. If you enjoyed the short clip, click right here to watch the full episode, and remember to subscribe to the channel. God bless.